Now that Ishiki has been disposed of and Kata is on his last limb with a single surviving member, things have begun to look a lot better for Konoha, even in the wake of Sasuke's Rinnegan being destroyed and Naruto losing Kurama, which shocked the world. Coincidentally enough, however, the remainder of Kata may turn out to be the most dangerous threat yet, as Code, Ishiki's most loyal and trusted servant, is tasked with completing Kata's mission of cultivating the Divine Tree and enforcing the Otsutsuki will. Code is pretty different to say the least from the rest of Kata that we've seen, and in the previous chapter of Boruto, we even learned that with his limiters removed, his power eclipses even Ishiki's. Code bore a strong loyalty to Ishiki as well, loyalty that ran so deep that as soon as Code discovered Ishiki's death, he vowed to take revenge on the ones responsible, including Boruto and Naruto. However, even with Naruto and Sasuke severely nerfed now, Code stays sharp and doesn't just barge right into the village to kidnap Boruto or Kawaki for the tree and exact his revenge on everyone. He instead first makes a stop on his way to the village while the Konoha shinobi train and prepare for him due to Amado's intel. Where Code goes next would have shocked even Jigen himself, as he travels to a facility deep in the trenches of a harsh blizzard to one of Boro's secret storage houses. After killing the two guards out front, Code enters the building and encounters a man named Bug, one of Boro's henchmen who ran the facility in his absence. Code informs Bug that Boro, as well as Jigen, are likely dead, and he knows all about this facility and what it was actually used for. Instead of disposing of Amado's overpowered units at Jigen's request, Boro's facility was used to hide these units, and for what exactly I guess we'll never really know. Code demands Bug take him to a being named Eida, the one who knows all things in this world, which is a pretty hefty title. As Boruto chapter 57 begins, with Code and Bug standing before Ida's chamber. A young woman with long hair is being housed in a secure region of the facility as Code reprimands Bug for preserving her despite Jigen's direct orders. "I don't know what you were plotting," he goes on, "but that's just asking for trouble." "If you ask me," Bug replies, "you knowing about her is more of a surprise. Why didn't you report Boro's transgressions to Jigen?" "I wasn't sure of it until I saw her myself," Code says. "Plus, if Boro were to incur Jigen's wrath, I'd be the one who'd end up having to dispose of him, and even I don't have the heart to tear down a good-natured buddy." "Yeah, right, I bet you wouldn't even blink," Bug replies. "Well, I never dreamed the day would come when she'd come in handy," Code says. "Let's wake her up, we'll talk after." Bug takes an extremely long pause before doing so, however, as he asks to make sure Code is aware of all of her abilities before waking her. "She's the one who knows everything in this world," Code says. "That's about all I've heard." "I don't know what you plan to have her do," Bug says. "I don't want to know. But I bet what you're thinking is much too naive." Code cuts his eyes at him, then tells him to quit prattling and just spill whatever it is he's trying to say. As Bug hesitates again, he warns Code that he can't just make her obey with brute force. "Not Ida," he says. "Out of all of them, she's in a completely different class." Code completely disregards this final warning, however, which I feel like may have been slight foreshadowing even, as he bares his claws and effortlessly shreds away at the chamber containing Ida. As pieces of the door fly all over the room, Bug panics as he wasn't really done explaining what she's capable of to Code, but Code says that if she defies, then he'll just simply kill her. As Ida begins to step out of the chamber, however, the energy in the room begins to shift unknowingly to everyone, as Ida is born once again. If you guys want to check out Boruto Naruto Next Generation's manga for yourselves, as always, I recommend sites like Viz Media and the Shonen Jump app to always support the official releases. You guys know this by now. Don't forget to have those notifications turned on by clicking the bell icon down below to never miss an upload as soon as they go live. And if you guys have been enjoying all of the anime content recently, consider leaving a like on this video as well. It really helps out a ton, guys. Be sure to follow on both Twitch and Twitter to stay up with me and all anime related updates. But without further ado, the target is Code. A Kata holdout, Shikamaru says from the Hokage office. The material you have in your hands has its details. As we see he and Naruto talking over a monitor to the other Kage, he tells them that Konoha patrols recently launched several incursion ops on the Kata base, but they all failed. Because the Kata base is located in another dimension, he goes on, there are several transfer portals scattered all over as per Amado, but our patrols have all reported that they all either don't activate or are damaged. It seems he anticipated us getting this intel and decided to act preemptively. So you should all operate under the assumption that he already knows that Amado has surrendered to Konoha. That's their only base, the Tsuchikage asks? There aren't any other related facilities. We're still tracking leads based on Amado's intel, Shikamaru responds, but he doesn't seem to be stupid enough to show up at a regular haunt. So no clues, huh? Darui says. What's the plan then? We predict his movements and intercept him. What are his motives, Chojuro asks. Well, we think he has two broad concerns, Shikamaru says. The first seems to be retaliating against those involved in subduing Ishiki, specifically the murder of the Hokage and other Konoha shinobi. The second is cultivating a divine tree from the Ten Tails. Ten Tails, Gaara says, shocked. We have to fight that monster again? Worst case scenario, yes, Naruto says, cutting in, but that's partly why we need to find Code now, to thwart his plan. Alright, I get the situation, Darui says. One basic question though. That scientist, Amado, that you got, can we really trust him, he asks, which seems to be the big elephant in the room for the other Kage as well. I trust you, Konoha, Darui goes on, but this dependence on someone who until just recently belonged to the enemy, you sure he's not just using you for his own purposes? If you want my personal opinion, Naruto replies, no. I don't trust him 100%. Amado came through with flying colors in the battle against Ishiki though, Naruto admits. It wouldn't be an overstatement to say that without him, there wouldn't still be a village, so the proof is pretty much in the results. All's well that ends well in terms of Ishiki, Gaara says, cutting in again. But what of Momoshiki's karma, he asks. Is Boruto really alright, Naruto? Naruto tells him that they're still searching for an effective solution, but it's not looking too good, honestly. Though Boruto himself is doing fine. The Kata holdout is a problem too, Gaara says, but this issue, frankly, is my bigger concern. If Momoshiki or Boruto himself were to become an Ishiki level threat, sorry to be harsh, but would you be able to take down your own son? Naruto, however, tells him that he's prepared to do whatever he needs to do as Hokage of the Leaf Village. Later on, Naruto decides to pay Amado a visit to get some things off of his chest. I spoke to Sasuke a bit earlier, Amado says to Naruto as he fumbles around in his cabinet for something. It did seem like he was prepared to, if necessary. For me, Naruto says, looking concerned, I just have trouble believing any of it. That my precious son will become another person entirely. A brutal Otsutsuki no less. And even if that worst case possibility were to become reality, I'd rather keep on not believing it until the moment it happens. I used to have a daughter too, Amado says. I know how you feel. Naruto looks at him shocked as he never spoke of having children before. She died though, Amado says. It's been 12 years already. Here we go, he says, finally finding whatever he was searching in the cabinets for. He sets a bottle of pills on the table in front of Naruto as he tells him, it's not that you don't want to believe, rather, you don't want to give up, right? He asks. That's why you've come to me. What's this? Naruto asks, finally acknowledging the pills. Amado tells him that it's a drug he crafted himself with the goal of weakening the Byakugan's power. That was the original plan, he says, shocking Naruto. I did every conceivable thing to take down Jigen, Amado says. This was but one byproduct of that. Don't ask for the details. The origin of the Byakugan lies with the Otsutsuki, so weakening the Byakugan might have the effect of curtailing the Otsutsufication of Boruto's cells. Fair warning though, he continues, I wouldn't normally recommend this because there's really no way of telling what kind of side effects there may be. Decreased vision would be bad enough, but worst case scenario, there's also a chance he could die. Listen closely, he says to Naruto. The best we can expect is curtailment. We might be able to stop the progression temporarily. It doesn't solve the fundamental problem, and regular dosing will likely become necessary to maintain efficacy. You should consider all of this very carefully before making your decision, Amado warns him. But in the end, it's still Boruto's decision. I'm sure you realize this as well, he continues, but make sure your wife and daughter do not take these. This is the most I can do, Amado tells him as Naruto takes the pills. Come back if you need more, as Naruto thanks him and then leaves to finish the plot to stop Code. As Eida finally steps out of the chamber at Boro's facility, Code and Bug are stunned as the young woman's eyes nearly pierce through their souls. As she takes her first step towards them, Code greets her, apologizing for waking her so suddenly. Eida walks right past the both of them, however, without saying a single word. Code then stops her in her tracks, using his straps to pierce straight through her sternum. Somewhere in here there's a joke about Code and fingering, but anyways, he tells her to hold it right there, saying you can't even bother with a hello? I came here to talk to you, he says, however if you can't concern yourself with me, I'll just dispose of you as per Jigen's orders. Oddly enough, she seems to already be unaffected by his first attack as she turns to him, telling him he can go ahead and try if he wants. That's too bad, Code replies, as he then looks to finish her off, but something odd catches his attention now. What the, he thinks to himself. I can't move my hands, or rather they won't do what I tell them to. See, you can't, can you? Eida asks him, already knowing the answer. Is this one of her abilities too, Code thinks to himself. I'm sorry, Code, she says. I wasn't ignoring you. You see, I've been asleep for a long time, so I'm worried I have bad breath. Bug, she says as she keeps walking. Guide him to the bar, please. I'll join you once I'm finished. Yes, ma'am, Bug says, still shook that she's been awakened again. Right, she's a girl after all, Code says as he stands at the bar waiting. What I did lacked class. Hey, Bug. What do you think? He says, smirking. You think she's interested in me? Don't be stupid, Code, Bug says. Dragging me into this? You've gotten yourself ensnared in her spell already. Yeah, my heart's pounding the longer I wait, Code admits. Is this a tactic of hers too? Fool, that's not what I meant, Bug says. It's her ability. She's stolen your heart. It's the reason you weren't able to attack her earlier. You're totally done for now. As Eida returns, she begins to explain by saying, let's say there were security cameras on every nook of the world and you could access them whenever you wanted. Could you watch them all day, Code asks? For the most part, she replies. I'm super bored. Though occasionally I'll see something interesting. Really? So, anything interesting happened recently, Code asks? Let's see, she says, thinking. Ishiki Otsutsuki dying? This grabs Code's full attention as she says that it was so pathetic and made her really laugh. I'm sad I can't show it to you, she says. And then Ishiki's dead soul griped at you. He seemed to be going on for a while, so I kinda stopped listening partway through, she says. But poor you to be tasked with so much. Wow, so your clairvoyance is the real deal, he says. How does it work? Well, it's kinda hard to explain to others, but it feels like just my consciousness is jumped there, she says. I can see the past too. I can't see events that happened before I was born though, and I will say this right now. Don't even think of asking such a boorish thing as how many years in the past can I look, she tells him. Fine, I'll only guess your age then, Code replies. Can you see into the future? No, it's not precognition, she admits. I can only see current events in real time or kinda pick scenes from the past to watch. I did predict that you would come visit me though, she says. Call it women's intuition. You came to ask about how to release the power limiters on your body, right? She says, which Code confirms that in order to kill the Hokage and the Uchiha, he wants to rid himself of any unnecessary hardships. She tells him, however, that only Amado can release the limiters using iris recognition and a voice command. Both biometric authentications are needed, she says, and I don't know what the code is. Well, that isn't a problem, Code replies. I'll just have someone perform transformation jutsu and turn into him. It's not exactly that easy, Eida says. You may not be able to tell, but he's remodeled his eyes with scientific ninja tools, and you know transformation jutsu can't replicate complex tech. So either you need Amado to cooperate, or you have to gouge out his eyeballs and take them with you, she says, causing Bug to almost throw up now. Dang, Code says. So charging just straight into Konoha alone for this would be too short-sighted. Not that I'm a fool like Delta. This must be why he hunkered down in the Shinobi village, Eida says. He's smart and a dreamy dandy, but I'll still kill him the next time we meet. You hate Amado? Code asks, curious now. That's right. Do you know why? She asks him. Is it because he remodeled your body, right? Half right, but that's not the main reason, Eida says. This is when she goes on to ask Code a very bizarre question, asking if he likes her. Code looks at her suspiciously as she then asks him again. Code, do you like me? Yes, I like you, Eida, Code responds. I've been crazy about you since earlier, but at the same time, my feelings for you raise a question. These emotions of mine, which seem so authentically real, are they phony? Manufactured by your ability? What trifling things you worry about, Eida replies, slightly annoyed now. Does it really matter? Don't misunderstand, Code says. I'm not talking about myself. I just want to know your ability since we'll be teaming up. You know nothing, Code. That's why you're useless, she says. It's not limited to you. Everyone becomes captivated by me. Both men and women, no matter who they are. Now do you get it, she says? How absolutely boring and tedious it is? You're not the one who most wants to know whether your feelings are real or not, she says. It's me. Even people who might have genuinely come to like me, I'll never know because my ability forcibly steals their hearts. So this is the right answer to my earlier question. Amado has robbed me of my ordinary love. I can't forgive that. That's why I hate him. Bug attempts to take his leave as Eida and Code continue their discussion, but Code attacks him with his black straps and is moments away from killing him. It doesn't look like you're too captivated by Eida, Bug, Code says, but Bug insists that it just happened for him so long ago. Eida, however, says that he doesn't really show it externally and he's probably just scared right now. Wait, I think I finally understand, Code says. The reason why Boro disobeyed Jigen's orders and didn't dispose of you was because he was your captive too. That's right, Eida confirms, though he was also rather afraid of my abilities just like Bug. Wait, hold on, Code says, thinking of something very interesting now. It should have been the same for Jigen too, right? So how was he able to order your disposal? Jigen is an exception, Eida replies. I couldn't steal his heart. You see, there are two types of hearts my ability can't steal, she goes on. One is blood relatives, and the other is Otsutsuki. This is when Eida goes on to bring up Kawaki, interestingly enough, asking Code to confirm whether he's an Otsutsuki as well. Code confirms he is, although he's incomplete right now. He had a karma. Going back to Ishiki in the end, she says, he died after falling for Kawaki's ploy. When I saw that, my heart fluttered. It was so thrilling. I hadn't felt like that in a long time. I see. So that's how it is, Code says, understanding now. You're right, your ability may not work on Kawaki. You'd be able to have a normal romance with him. He could be your little shining prince. Exactly, she agrees. You're starting to get it, Code. In which case, he continues, the same should hold true for Boruto Uzumaki as well. He's also undergoing the transformation, so he's plenty eligible to be a prince also. Oh, Boruto. Right, she says, remembering him as well. He's cute and everything, but what about your objectives? Don't you need Ten-Tail's fodder to cultivate the divine tree? Are you sure, Code asks? You'll be down one prince, to which she gives him the go-ahead as long as he saves Kawaki for her. Bug is disgusted at their conversation as it seems like just one big human trafficking transaction, calling them both insane. The Kage are conferencing right now, Eida tells Code. They're searching for you in order to stop your plan. I can see and hear all though. You'll never be caught. Nice, you're the best, Code responds as they then go on to toast to this new, insanely powerful and insanely crazy partnership that looks to be almost unstoppable as the Leaf Village scrambles to prepare for Code, but have no idea whatsoever of the one who knows all things in this world, looking for her Otsutsuki prince to fall in love with.